Iran has claimed responsibility for an attack in northern Iraq that killed at least 4 people and wounded 6 others. Missiles and drone attacks were launched in Erbil near the airport. It caused flights to be suspended, although these have now resumed. Iran's Revolutionary Guard says it was targeting spy centers used by Israel's intelligence service, Mossad. The Prime Minister of the semi-autonomous Kurdish region has condemned the attack, describing it as cowardly. Iran also targeted ISIL in Syria in retaliation for bombings in Iran earlier this month. Al Jazeera's Mahmoud Abdelwahid has more now from Baghdad.
The Security Council of Iraq's northern semi-autonomous Kurdish region has announced that at 11:30 p.m. On January 15th, the Iran's Revolutionary Guard fired ballistic missiles and targeted civilian areas in Iraq's northern city of Erbil. On the other hand, Iran's Revolutionary Guard stated that in response to terrorist crimes committed by enemies of the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Revolutionary Guard has targeted espionage headquarters and what it calls a gathering of anti-Iran terrorist groups and destroyed them. Now, since mid-October, over 120 attacks targeted U.S. and coalition forces headquarters were carried out by Iran-aligned armed groups. But this is the first time Iran's Revolutionary Guard takes matters into their own hands. The Iran-aligned armed groups in Iraq blame the United States for, as they say, standing as a major supporter of Israel's military campaign in Gaza, and they put that support to stop as a prerequisite to stop their attacks against U.S. and coalition forces in Iraq.
Well, let's bring in Sina Azodi in Washington, D.C. He's an adjunct professor at the George Washington University. Sina, good to have you with us. So how significant, then, are these Iranian strikes in northern Iraq and Syria? And what kind of message are the Iranians sending, and who are they sending it to?
I think they're quite significant. They're not that different from Iran's previous actions. This has been the largest missile strike that Iran has conducted since the assassination of General Soleimani in January 2020. I think just reading from the lines and the person who was assassinated, Iranians are claiming that this this Kurdish businessman who was killed along with his family was connected to Mossad. Now, whether this is true or not, that's a separate issue. But they've also been claiming that this is a response to the killing of some Iranian commanders, in addition to the terrorist attacks, the recent terrorist attacks in Kerman. So I believe, the message is to the Israelis and by extension to the U.S.
Sina, how much do these attacks represent a regional escalation of Israel's war in Gaza, given those Iranian claims that, as you say, they were attacking Israeli intelligence assets in the region?
Well, I believe they're all connected to each other. As long as the conflict in Gaza continues, I think we will see actions. But I don't believe that this is an escalation. Even just looking at what the State Department said, basically saying that they're not targeting us. The spokesperson for the State Department said that this is a reckless attack, but again, he pointed out that this was not directed against the United States. So the U.S. is kind of playing it down too. And the Iranians have repeatedly said that they're not interested in escalating the conflict. But again, I think that as long as the conflict in Gaza continues, we will see actions like this, a tit for tat here and there.
Sina, let's just talk about ISIL. I mean, Iran also claimed it attacked sites belonging to ISIL in Syria. Is this being seen then as retaliation for those ISIL attacks in the southwest of Iran earlier this month that killed 100 people?
Yes, absolutely. Again, we are seeing a repetition of what Iranians did in January 2017 when ISIS attacked Tehran that year. And Iran responded again with ballistic missiles targeting ISIS positions or ISIL positions in Syria. And we're seeing the similar strategy by Iranians using their ballistic missiles to send not only a political message to the United States and regional countries that Iran's ballistic missiles is a very strong force, in addition to targeting targeting threats, excuse me.
Sina, just a final thought to you before you go. As you were saying then, is there this fear that unless there is some kind of ceasefire taking place in Gaza, Iran could continue these sorts of attacks? And could that put more pressure then on the international community to call for a ceasefire, given the widening, the escalation of the conflict?
I don't believe that the international community can do much as long as the United States, with the influence that it has over Israel, does not pressure the Israelis to go for a ceasefire. We did see that during the 6-day ceasefire that we had a month ago or so, where the hostages were exchanged, the attacks, the similar attacks that we've seen from the Houthis or other groups, they also stopped. But once the conflict resumed, we're seeing again more attacks. And the problem is, I think my main concern is at one of these attacks, there could be casualties, U.S. casualties, which would force the United States to respond. And then it could escalate without anyone actually wanting war.
All right, Sina Azodi, really good to get your thoughts and your analysis. Thank you very much indeed, Sina, for talking to us.
Thank you.